Hello and welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Bryce
I'm Chris.
and I am bald.
And I'm the Beardiful one.
Yeah, we're both getting pretty beautiful. I did cut mine, and I do need to keep it around this length. I think this is a good length. I think before it was just a little too much for me.
Yeah, I needed a little bit of a trim. I'm getting a little shaggy, but I'm liking the growth I'm getting, and as far as the overall beard status, it needs to clean up now that I've gone through a nice little growth phase.
Yeah, I mean it's COVID times. We're all in and not really doing our makeup and whatnot nowadays. So don't
Uh,
lie. You know that you make up every time you go out.
sure.
Sure. Yeah, no denial. I'll take it. Anyway, did you watch the debate last night?
Uh, if you could call it a debate, yes, I watched it, but I watched it
I'm
for
sorry.
like.
Did you watch that TV show where these two old guys were screaming at each other while someone was going shh shh? No, did you watch that thing?
Yes, and it was simply for the car wreck like status of it, right? So you totally expected, like, I didn't expect it to really be a debate, right? Like, I expected it to be pretty much what it was, which was an absolute
He said, she said, BS.
ish show. Ish
Yeah.
show. And the moderator sucked. I'm gonna say that right now. Chris Wallace sucks at being a moderator.
How,
Sucks
how
real
so?
bad. Big floppy donkey wiener.
Anyway, why? Do you have a reason or just because?
Yeah, because he
Didn't control either one of them.
he couldn't control what was going on. His questions were absolutely trash. The questions last night were absolutely trash. Oh, so spoiler alert, we're recording this on Wednesday, the day after the debate on Tuesday, for this. But yeah, his questions were trash. And at one point, like, Trump actually does say that I guess I'm debating you now, and he just kind of laughs it off. But it just downhill from there, where it wasn't a debate uh, between the two candidates. It was just a yelling match. I was really hoping that somebody would get frustrated enough to throat punch the other one, which would have been hilarious. But it
Halfway through, I was thinking this show would be a lot more interesting if you could just put shot collars on both of them, and every time they interrupted each other, just bzz,
yeah,
bzz, no, stop,
but
no.
we all know. I actually put it out on Facebook too. I put it out on Facebook before the debate. I made my quote unquote bold prediction, and I said that no matter what transpired, media outlets would say that Trump lost and that Biden won, no matter what occurred, right? And that's exactly what happened. Short of Fox News, but we all know that Fox News is going to be biased, whatever. Like, they were never going to say that Biden won the debate, but literally, like, in immediately CNN, 60% of viewers said that Biden won. I'm like, what did he win? They didn't do
No,
anything.
no, nothing happened. Nothing got accomplished. All it was a bunch of he said, he said. And what really sucks about it is I have no idea what either one of these guys actually want to do with the country. It's just they don't want the other guy to win for their own personal reasons. They not one person said how they're going to change things, how they're going to make things better. It was just a giant pissing match, and they both pissed blood. Like it was a complete bull.
Oh yes, zero winners, and we were all the losers.
Yeah,
100%. The only thing that might be worse than the debate is the Thursday night football game.
that was. I mean, that was still entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Not last Thursdays, this Thursdays.
Just because of the teams that are playing.
Yeah, just the matchup. I actually thought last Thursdays was going to be a dumpster fire, also, but it actually ended up being really entertaining.
I am so glad that I did not change that pick. I was going to change one of those picks and pick the Jags, and they would have screwed me. Oh my god!
So
I remember saying it to you like this would have been my pick, and I'm so glad I didn't go with it. You like if you picked Miami, good for you. I honestly should have picked Miami because I've been in Miami's corner for a couple of weeks now. Just because even though they've been losing, they have not been losing by a lot. They lost to the Patriots, but they lost by less than a field goal.
true.
Like they weren't complete garbage.
I think the best part of watching the game is when I watched the game with Dad and the wife, right? We went out, hung out, had some drinks,
Oh, that's nice.
watched the game, right? Had a good time. And Sam, my wife, ended up on the Jacksonville. I ended up picked Jacksonville in that game, and then the needle her. Dad was like, "Yeah, I guess," because she was said how I avoid the Thursday night game. It's just the curse of the Thursday night game. I don't pick it anymore. We don't pick it anymore at this point because you've also absorbed the curse, right?
Yeah,
and he goes,
I think a couple episodes last season will prove that.
Yeah. And then he goes, well, if I had picked the Thursday night game, I would have picked Miami.
Wait, was this after the fact?
No, it was during the game. It was halftime. Okay, really? You were going to pick Miami, whatever. But it was good. It was a good little troll.
If for any of our guys that did pick Miami, what they ended up with? They would end up with 21 points.
Well, yeah, but honestly, I don't think that anybody that picked Miami ended up placing this week anyway. They basically it was a wasted pick. They picked a really good pick and then they completely
You saying top 10?
I don't know. I wasn't even looking at top 10. They didn't win. They didn't podium.
I
don't think anybody. Okay, I'll put it this way. If I'm remembering correctly, nobody in the top 5 had Miami on their picks.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you were completely wrong.
Oh, whatever.
I'm gonna make this a little fun. Out of the top 10, how many picked Miami?
I didn't say top 10. I said top 5.
No, we'll get there. How many of the top 10 picked Miami? Do you think? I'm telling you right now that you were wrong. So how many top 10 picked Miami?
Let's go 3.
Ooh, 4. Close up.
Okay. Price is right rules. Price is right rules. I was close without going over.
So, all right, now to go further into your point, out of the podium, how many picked Miami?
Oh, I'm going to go with 1. If that's the case, I'm going to go with 1. Oh, 2. Okay, fine.
I swear, and third both picked Miami.
Okay, so I swear, and maybe I transpose it. I swear that the top 5 people were on San Francisco, and that's why they ended up taking it. They didn't take Miami, but they took San Francisco.
Okay.
So whatever.
Yeah, Miami seemed to be a decent pick for the top 10.
Oh man,
I guess we'll go more because I think both of us had a couple other ones that were up there. Should we go to our recap?
You want to go into the week 3 recap? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
As previously stated, we made some changes this year on how we do our picks. We decided that we don't have to keep what we say on our previous episode. We want to change things up. We can change things up. And we'll do a quick comparison on how we would have done versus how we actually did. I know I made at least one change. I think I made exactly one change, and I'm pretty happy that I did. And you did too?
One change. So without further ado on the changes, switch decisions, if you will. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Since you won the week, right?
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and let you start out on your recap.
All right. So to start this off, I had one decision that I switched. I took away my Seahawk bet and put in San Francisco, I believe. Yeah, San Francisco. And
so that's what got you.
That's what got me there.
Okay.
There were times where I was top 7. I ended up in 11th place in over the 99 of the week. Pittsburgh, they are fairly consistent with keeping a close game. I need to stop picking them as far as a good spread. They're winning, but they're not causing a lot of damage in the spread. San Francisco, beat up, torn up, whatever. They're still a good pick, especially going up against the Giants with a down Barkley and Freeman just coming in. They haven't quite got their stride yet, so they got me 22.5 points, which so as you could imagine was an amazing switch on my part. And I said in the beginning I wasn't too happy with my Seahawk pick, which if I had kept, I would have only had 2 points from them, and this game and my score would have been only 7 points overall. Still would have beaten you, but not great in the long run. Vegas. I'm not disappointed in Vegas. I'm honestly disappointed in myself. Throughout the entire week, I saw that Jacobs was questionable. He was not practicing. And same with Walker, or was it Waller? Was it Walker or Waller, the tight end?
Waller.
Remember? Waller. Both of them weren't practicing. They were game time decisions. I knew that team wasn't 100%. I should have, if I had switched it, I would have pedestaled. I probably would have been first or second.
Yeah, because if you do a swing, let's say you do the swing and get the plus 10 points, that puts you at 37.5. That definitely puts you top 5.
Check your math.
Yeah, a 10-point swing.
Well, 10 points is just puts me back at 37. But if I had picked New England,
you're talking about sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah,
you know what I was trying to say. It puts either way.
I knew what you're trying to say.
What I was trying to say is, you switch if you had switched that pick and taken New England, you would have ended up top 5.
I know. Not only would I have ended up top 5, I would have had 47.5 points, which first place had 47. I would have won the whole week by 0.5.
All right, fair. All right, Buffalo against the Rams.
Yeah, Rams. They're high scorers, but so is Buffalo. That's on me again. I know Buffalo's a good team.
Buffalo just close wins all around.
Yep, right. And I'm trying to keep track of who's doing well, and that's on me. I should have known, because Allen is overall in like touchdowns or yards or what have you, is number 1 quarterback this season so far. I think even over Mahomes.
Nah, Mahomes he's behind Mahomes for sure.
Is he?
Yeah.
Either way, he's top 3. Easy.
Oh yeah, he's
top 3.
Hence why I drafted him. He was a steal late, and but I mean, I still didn't win, but that's because of all my other injuries.
Oh, your team took a nap this week in fantasy. Anyway, we'll go into that later, maybe.
Probably
Tampa
not.
Tampa Bay, I stand by. Denver's not doing great, and 12 points out of a pick, to me, not that bad. So I ended this week with 27.5 points. If I had just switched one bet over, I could have been number 1. But so close yet so far. All right, let's talk about yours.
All right, so we can lead into Tampa. Like, obviously, I was on Tampa too. That was kind of like my sort of saving grace that mitigated my loss of points on that one, right? Yeah, Denver is is hurting pretty bad, and Tampa is rolling, so that's really easy. So I'm gonna go bottom up is basically the way I'm gonna work this. Don't know what happened to the Chargers. Don't know like what they've got going on. Good on Carolina.
They were heavy favored by a touchdown too.
Yeah, good on Carolina for taking care of business. But I don't know what's wrong with the Chargers.
No McCaffrey or anything.
Doing it without McCaffrey. I don't know if that's a testament to Carolina or that the Chargers are just taking a dive. I don't know. Either way. Atlanta, this one killed me. I was very angry. It's the second – they're 0-3 right now? Yeah, they're 0-3. And they've blown multiple double-digit leads, right, by 10 points or more in back-to-back weeks. And it was like I read something about this that it's super rare statistically for a team in a season to blow back-to-back or to blow double-digit leads, period, twice in a season, period. Just in the season to blow 2 double-digit leads.
Not by the half or anything like that. Just how far is when did they have the double-digit lead? Is my question.
It was like 26-10 in the third quarter, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one was. Yeah.
So absolute trash, but Atlanta managed to do it in back-to-back games in the first 3 games of the season. All right, so they are a statistical anomaly with that. So that one killed me because, honestly, with all my picks, the first half of the morning games, I was top 3 through the first half of the morning games. I was like, all right, this is looking pretty good. And then the back half of the morning games absolutely took a dive. Right?
And then the Falcons came in.
Yeah, and then the Falcons came in. Well, no, the switch was Chicago brought out Nick Foles. and they were no longer playing Mitch Trubisky.
Oh yeah, because I heard about that because now Foles is starting next week.
Yeah, we can touch on that in the big news of the week. So moving on to the footballs, the Washington footballs against the Cleveland Brown Bombers. There, this kind of played out the way I expected it to a certain extent, right? Like I knew like I was taking a dog pick. I was taking a dog pick with a decent amount of points. So I'm not 100% upset on this one, but the one thing that I think did it is 2 defensive linemen went out at halftime. So I want to say for Washington. So at half, or at least at some point, I won't even say at half, but I do know that Washington had a lead on Cleveland at one point. And then they had two significant injuries to their the defensive linemen, and then the Cleveland managed to start scoring touchdowns after that. And it was just all over from there, right?
Right.
So Washington performed about the way I expected to. Looks like they may have had some significant injuries that ended up costing me some points. -7 though is really not the end of the world for that kind of dog though, in the scheme of things, right? And because there was also a garbage time touchdown, I believe, that like brought it from even right to -7. So whatever, right? So now we get to brings us up to my switcheroony, right? Which was Philly and Cincinnati, right? So I know I talked about it. I said that this was my like game that I really wasn't sure about, and I had initially picked Philly. And I talked about potentially switching to New Orleans if Devontae Adams wasn't going to play. I just looked at it and I was like, I really still don't like the way that New Orleans is looking. I really don't want to move that game. And then I started watching the Vegas odds line, the betting line for this game. And I just saw it moving down, and it went from the open at 6.5 for Cincinnati to 4.5. I believe at kickoff it was Cincinnati plus 4.5. So by taking that switch, I realized 2.5 points worth of equity, right? So I made the switch. And then Philly pulled a Philly and managed to take it to overtime with Cincinnati. So I don't know if that's like a bad on Philly or good on Cincinnati, I guess. I don't know. And then
Philly has blown a couple of leads as well.
Yeah. So then Cincinnati blows their ability to score and close it out, gives the ball back to Philly, who then drives down the field. And then I thought it was over. So, like, I left because I was going to watch the afternoon games with friends. So, like, I turned it off and went about my business. And I show up, and there is an Eagles fan that hangs out with us that is there. Like, we're still cordial, even though me being a Cowboys fan. But I was, said my highs, whatever. And, like, we kind of sat near each other. And we started watching the afternoon games. And then they did some recaps from earlier and showed the score that they had ended in a tie. And I just looked at him, and he just immediately, like, that look on his face of just sheer, like, panic. Like, I'm going to make fun of him for this. And I'm like, what happened? I didn't see it.
For tying the Bengals.
How do you tie the Bengals? And he goes, well, we drove down, and then we committed 2 penalties, and then we punted it. I'm like, why would you punt it? I don't understand that. That's one of the things, like, I don't get, and I think it's just this, like, I can't – these are older gentlemen. These are older people that are playing. I can't say it's the participation trophy, like, mentality, but it is the same thing as the participation, like, trophy mentality. Who cares if you got 2 penalties and it made it an extra long field goal? Put it out there and let him try and foot it. Even if he misses, you end in a tie. If you punt it, you end in a tie. Try and foot it. Just do it.
Do you know what the yard line was?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I just remember that it was in field goal range. I want to say like they were close to the 20 when I turned it off. So what is it? So let's say they got 2 10-yard penalties. It would have been like a 50. Like it would be close to a 60-yard field goal, right? Is what it would be.
Yeah.
And there are on record, I believe the record is a 64-yard field goal.
That's what I know too. Yep.
So,
but I mean, as weird as that game was, you were between that one and you said New Orleans, correct?
Yeah, and if I picked New Orleans, I lost anyway. So like this, I ended up positive. I got 6.5 points out of Philadelphia tying the Bungles.
So you ended the week with -8, right?
Yeah. So overall,
And
final
do you know what
tally.
you would have been if you picked the New Orleans?
Oh, like way worse, way worse.
-24 by my count.
Okay, so yeah, so I saved myself on that one a little bit. Had I only not
New
taken the
Orleans went
Chargers.
-10.
I should have taken. I wish I had taken San Francisco instead of the Chargers. That would have been perfect. Like it would have been perfect. So getting into comparisons though. So Cowherd, did you watch any of the Blazing Five?
I did not.
Okay, so his picks, Cowherd's picks for this week were Bills, New England, Cincinnati, Houston, and Tampa Bay. So we got half a point for the Bills, by my calculation, right? Yeah. So half a point for the Bills. You got 10 points for New England, 6.5 points for Cincinnati, 3.5 points for Houston, and then 12 points for Tampa Bay, which if I did my math right would be 32.5 points, which means
he beat us both this week.
He beat us both this week and would have been good enough for 5th place. He would have tied for 5th place in our league.
You said 35?
32 and a half.
Of course, this thing signed me out again when I'm on it.
Either way.
I
believe it's tied for 5th, which is a good swing. And so that puts him at what, like 30? I think he puts him at 36 points in total overall for on the season. If I'm doing my math, if I'm keeping my math correct, as far as the total tally.
I haven't been keeping track of his total tally.
I've been that's what I was saying. He had 12 points like in the first week, and then he had he had 14 points in the first week, and then minus 12 in the second week. So he had like 2 points. So 32.5 plus 2 is 34.5.
So he's at 34.5 for the year?
On the season right now. So he puts him ahead of me because I'm currently I have 20 points, so I'm still positive on the season, but I'm 39th overall with 20 points.
I'm 18th for the season so far with 44.5.
So it puts him right behind you.
Yes. Yeah, he's on my heels.
Yeah, so you have 10 44, so you have 10 points. You currently have 10 points on him, so basically a 1 week swing. And
it's a 1 game swing. That's not even a week swing. It's a 1 game swing.
All right. So now I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to make some new picks. I'm ready to put this behind me. So this wasn't the worst outcome that could have happened. I could have picked Jacksonville. Sorry, babe. But I wasn't gonna bet against the mustache anyway. Like even if same with you. Like you would have been on Jacksonville if you didn't avoid the Thursday night curse. You would have been betting on the mustache.
Do you know where Sam and Dad ended up in the week?
No, on the week, Sam ended up like 89th or something, 91st, something like that.
That's rough. He said you're 57th.
Yeah, so I ended up just outside of the middle.
Dad did a little worse than you. He's in 63rd with -12.5 to your -8.
Yep.
I thought I saw a D prize somewhere. Maybe I think it was overall she was doing really well, but hasn't been top 10 yet.
Nah, she tanked.
She was 18th this week with 20.5.
Oh, she still ended up 18th because she picked the Jets this week.
She did. That's -18.5.
Yeah, so
but she also went New England and Kansas City, who were both. Oh, New England and Green Bay were both +10, and then Kansas City was 17. So she had 2 great picks that helped her get out of the hole, but.
So she doesn't pick the Jets. If she just avoids the Jets altogether, she actually takes a significant jump.
Yeah, imagine if she had flipped that, she would have been first.
All right, so moving on, I'm gonna story time. Let's switch over to your ugly mug.
Yeah, well, I was telling Chris a story and mentioned that I should put it on the podcast because we had a segment last year. We had story time, but we only used it like once or twice, I think.
No, we started doing it in the Chase episode when we started breaking up we were doing our picks picks and recaps, and then we were doing like side bet and Chaser story time in the Chaser episode. We just haven't been doing a Chaser episode.
We're all over the place. We don't have a structure for this.
Well,
but
we do now. We're just keeping it. We're keeping a simple structure right now, just because that's what time allows for right now. Because we don't do this full time. This is,
yeah, definitely.
If we could,
Yeah, so
I'm down. We just need to promote this a lot more and get more than our 5 or 6 views from our 21 subscribers.
So this story is now and will forever be known as my first trip to Tahoe, and Lake Tahoe in California. And it starts with all things an oil change to my car. So I had just finished doing a move, and I needed to get the oil change to my car. And of course, when you do this, I get done at the dealership, they give me a list of things that are wrong with the car. Fantastic. So they give me a list, and it's like you need new brakes, you need new tires, you should look at changing out the driving belt and the engine coolant. Well, the car's got 150 something thousand miles on it. So yeah, I understand, change the belt, change the coolant. I've taken those tires cross country along with the brakes. Yeah, I completely understand that. Just for the belt, the coolant, and the brakes, it would have cost me $800 to do it at the dealership. So I go, I'm going to keep looking. I do a little research. I go to Brake Masters for the brakes. They told me it would cost like $400 to do the brakes at the dealership, something like that. It was ridiculous. And I called Brake Masters to go, $130. Okay, I'll bring it there. I bring it in, and I'm getting the quote done, and they don't have time that day, but I asked them about the other 2 things because I would do the tires later. I asked about the other 2 things, like, oh yeah, $100 a piece. So now an 800 job turns into 350. Fantastic. So I take it in on a Thursday, get it all done. Friday, I'm going to Tahoe. That's when the story starts. And so I have all this new stuff done to the car. So I'm feeling good about it. I take off from Tahoe. Or take off from where I'm at, and I go to Tahoe. It's about an hour. It's about a 2-hour drive. An hour and a half in, you get to this point called Echo. I think it's Echo Point, where there's a bridge. Well, that day they started construction on the bridge, so I have to take a way around. You know how you go around? You go back the way you came, the full hour and a half. I had to go back the full hour and a half, go up to the other freeway, and take another 2.5 hours out. So a 2-hour trip took 5.5 hours. It's a great start to the weekend. I get to Tahoe about 9:30 at night. I'm meeting up with friends. We go gamble a little. I tried some 3-card poker. I put down $100, won 150 off of it. Fantastic. I go play craps with my friends. I put $60 in, and about 4 hours later, I pull out 600 from the craps machine because it's one of the machine dice is not actually an actual table. So, I mean, it balanced out. Like the day balanced out. Not only it took 5 hours to get there, but I also made back all the money that I just put into my car and then some. Next day, Saturday morning, I go to my car. I'm going to take me and my friends to go for a hike. I get to my car, flat tire. Great. So I tell my friends, I get my car to an air pump, fill it, drive it to a tire shop. Luckily, it's Saturday in Tahoe and things are still open, so it could have been worse. I could have not done anything Saturday and found out Sunday morning when everything's closed and I need to go home. But take it to a tire shop. They look at it. They go, your tire's fine. You have a cracked wheel. Fantastic. The tire shop doesn't have wheels, but luckily down the street there's a Les Schwab, and call them up. They have one in stock for my car, and I get switched out. Cost me about $160. So, still up for the weekend. During all that, that took all day. So I was in and out of the tire shop, whatever. We went hiking and did some other stuff. It was still fun. I got to see a lot of the foresty area. So it's nighttime, Saturday night. We go back to the casino, start playing a little more. Did craps again, because apparently that's my game. And won $320 that night. So again, won back the money I just paid for the wheel, and then some. So it just keeps balancing out somehow. Time, then money. Sunday comes along, watching the game with the guy I'm actually playing fantasy that week and watching my team kick his ass. So things are getting better. I end up winning that week. We have some dinner. I go home, and again, it's like a 2.5 hour drive home. I get within an hour of my house, and another flat tire, different tire, just gives out, doesn't hold air. I just see it losing air, and then pull off the side of the road. Perfect ending to this weekend because I was having such a great day. Why wouldn't it end any other way? Call the tow truck. I don't know anyone in my area. The guy that I actually rent from doesn't actually live here. He has a job down in Southern California, but he comes up to visit his son. Luck would have it, that was the day he came back. Called him up, said, "Hey, I need a favor." I actually haven't met that guy until then. He comes, he gets at the same time the tow truck does, and I meet this guy for the first time on the side of the highway, saying, "Thanks for coming." We drive home. And I have some complications with the AAA, but we get it figured out. The short version of that is I had to walk to work 2 days in a row. Luckily, I live within 5 miles of my job, so it wasn't too bad. But that entire weekend was just something bad, something good, something bad, something good, something bad, something good. It was the whole weekend was a complete wash, even though I did end up with a good amount of money in my pocket.
It's very yin and yang weekend. Very yin and yang. Very
absolutely.
Balanced. The other thing is, I hope you know now that you've admitted all these winnings on our widely viewed podcast. You better hope that one of our viewers isn't the IRS and that you're reporting the appropriate taxes on your winnings.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, right? I thought you had to win a certain amount before you had to start recording it.
You do. Yeah. I don't know about state. I don't know about California because California might have some state laws that say things. I don't know, but I know from I believe federal income tax is I think it's $5,000. Anything over $5,000 you have to report. They lowered it to 3. I take that back. I believe they lowered it to 3. It used to be 5, and now they lowered it to 3. So it's anything that's over $3,000.
3 what?
3,000.
You said 100 or 1,000?
3,000. Yes.
Okay.
It used to be 5, and then they lowered it.
So I'm still good. Anyway, thank you very much for this episode of Story Time.
Story time. We'll have to come up with it. I should have another story for next week because I'll be traveling. So I travel this weekend. I'll be in Minnesota. So hopefully I'll have a good story of being in Minnesota. I won't be at the game or anything like that, but I think they're traveling anyway.
Then what's the point even?
Well, no, I'm there for another reason. I'm not there for the Vikings. But either way, I'm traveling, so I might be able to share a story time of my own. You know that they're far and few between with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, Minnesota's going to Houston, which I have other stuff to say, but we'll do that in the big news. Are we doing our week 4 picks now?
Yes, sir. Moving into week 4, COVID intervention.
Yeah, right. That's a fun one. So
you can lead us off,
this? Huh?
What's up?
So why do we call this COVID intervention? Well, because so far we have at least one game that's been affected by COVID. We don't know if the Steelers and Texans are playing on Sunday or if they're going to move it to a Monday or Tuesday, which just confuses me.
Officially said, I think what I saw was they officially said they don't know which day it's going to be, but it will not be played on Sunday, but it will be played on Monday or Tuesday, I believe. They haven't made it.
God forbid you have to wait 1 more day or 2 more days to get over COVID. Wait, that's not right. Anyway. No. I think they're just making a spectacle out of it, and the reason why I say that is because I remember the news saying both players from the Vikings and Tennessee tested positive for COVID, yet the Tennessee's game is the only one that's being postponed. Makes no sense. I don't get it, but I'm not in charge. So, talking about this week's picks. Overall, I went with potentially high-scoring games. Seattle, Miami. Miami had a good run against the Jaguars, but that was the Jaguars. Seattle's got a better defense. They score a lot more points because their offense is on point with Lockett and
Metcalf.
Metcalf, and who's a running back? Carson.
Well, Carson's probably going to be out this week then, though,
Is he?
because he has a knee injury.
Well, luckily it's open. We're open to change. New Orleans versus Detroit. Detroit has not been living up to the standard I thought they'd be, and New Orleans has potential for high scoring. Dallas versus the Browns. It was a relatively close spread. Dallas, as we saw with Seattle, has the potential for high scoring. They're back in Dallas, which I honestly think is bad because for some reason they seem to do worse at home. But it's Cleveland, so who knows? Indianapolis versus Chicago. Chicago, I looked at their injury report, and a lot of their defense was injured. I don't know if it was a lot of key players, but I saw a lot of cornerbacks. I saw a couple linemen. So I'm thinking since Indianapolis also has potential for high scoring, especially against teams like the Jets, there's potential there for separation, and especially if they win by more than they can definitely win by more than a field goal. I think they definitely have potential. San Francisco, I mean, if their track record shows anything, they should be able to pull off this win, especially since Philadelphia has a tendency to just let games go, and they're also playing at home, so they're not going to be worried from the travel. Man, that's my deductive reasoning. We'll see if I have any changes depending on injuries or what have you. But so far, that's what I got.
All right. So, hopping into mine.
This is the first time I'm seeing your picks. And do you have any overlapping?
Yes, but well, sort of opposite. I'm on the opposite side of one of the games. We'll get there.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm riding Tampa Bay's winning ways this week at home against a Charger team that does not seem to have their ish together. That's really all it is. I feel that Tampa's winning and will want to continue that win, and I think the Chargers are just are a lost cause for now.
Okay.
Seattle, I even with Chris Carson probably missing the week, the Seattle run game is a smaller portion of their overall offense. So I'm not necessarily worried as much. It sucks for me in fantasy because I also have Chris Carson, but I did pick up Carlos Hyde, who would take over the starting role. So not totally borked in that one, but Miami really just does not. Yeah, they looked good against New England in week 1.
Yep.
That was about it, really. Like the Bills, they came back against the Bills, but they were losing that game pretty handedly. The Bills just kind of let off the gas, in my opinion, from that. And then they beat the Jaguars, and the Jaguars really aren't that great. Like they're not a great team. They're not on Seattle's level, right? So I assume that Seattle is going to let Russ cook, run up the score, and then force Fitzmagic to. What was that?
So you know what happens when you assume.
Whatever. Either way.
Ask that of you and me.
Whatever. But I think that their defense is definitely good enough to force some mistakes by Fitzmagic. So I expect Seattle to cover pretty handedly. So it brings what?
I was going to say, how does nobody make that joke that Fitzmagic made the ball disappear into the opponent's hand?
Well, there you go. Maybe you should copyright that. All right. Now, which brings us to the game that we are overlapping game, but on opposite sides of it. You picked Indy in this game.
Well, we overlapped on Seattle as well.
So. Oh, well, yeah, we took Seattle. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did take Seattle together. But we did end up opposite on this game, right? So you're taking Indy. I'm taking Chicago. I just look at this from a perspective of who has Indy really beat. They lost pretty handedly to Carolina. Granted, this is with Christian McCaffrey in the lineup, but they lost to Christian McCaffrey and the Carolina Panthers in week 1, which I was on the Ash end of that one because I picked Indy in that. But outside of that, they really haven't. They lost in week 1 to Carolina. They beat Minnesota in week 2, which Minnesota isn't that great. They should be better, but they're just not.
They really should be a lot better.
But they're not. They are what they are, right? But they're not a great team, and they don't have a really good. For some reason, they have no pass rush whatsoever.
But I mean, it was still like 28-11. Like they didn't barely win to the Vikings. They had a 2-score lead on them.
Yeah, but so the Vikings, right? And now this last week in week 3, they beat up on the Jets.
And then they lost to the Jaguars. I would think that Vikings are better than the Jaguars.
They lost to who? Wait, what? When?
Colts lost to the Jags.
Wait, so they lost. They lost to no, I say No, they lost to Carolina in week 1, didn't they? Or they lose to the Jags in week 1?
They lost to the Jags week 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Then I am totally. Then I'm way off.
Carolina lost to the Raiders week 1.
Oh, okay. I got that mixed up. So then week 1.
They're both cats.
Yeah. So yes, they lost to the Jags in week 1, which actually is way worse. That's so much worse. Because I at least gave them credit for like Christian McCaffrey being in the lineup. The Jags do not have Christian McCaffrey. He plays for the Panthers, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's so much worse that they lost to the Jags and then beat the Vikings and then beat up on the Jets. Who cares? I think I'm actually surprised that Chicago is a home dog. I think that, I think this is a clear cut of mistaken identity, and Nick Foles is starting. They're not going up against Trubisky. They're going up against Foles. You
definitely had me rethinking that one.
Well, I think you should keep it since that's the only one we're opposite on. I think we should keep it side bet. We should keep it and do a side bet.
No, I'm not going to let you trick me into keeping something that could obviously favor you. No, absolutely not. Who do you think I am?
Bryce. Exactly. You are who I think you are. Baby Fester.
Yeah.
You forever and always will be Baby Fester.
Bryce, Baby Fester, Bruce apparently.
Bruce.
I've gotten Killer B, Gentle Giant. I was known by Monster in college for a while. I don't know. I've had so many nicknames.
Moving on. So that's where Chicago. The Rams and New York. I absolutely hate taking large spreads like this. But basically, anybody can do whatever they want with the Giants. They can have any team is going to have their way with the Giants. It really doesn't matter. I think the Rams are a better team than San Francisco, just based on personnel and injuries. Really, San Francisco's a pretty decimated team due to injuries. The Rams are not in the same boat. They are going to have their way with the Giants. That's it.
I was looking at that, and Rams have been high scoring in general, but they also haven't been creating large spreads. And I think a lot of that has to do with who they were playing. Who did they play in week 2? Because I saw they played Buffalo last week.
Dallas in week 2? Did they play Dallas in week 2? Yeah.
No. Cowboys played the Falcons. They played the Eagles. And
okay.
that was a decent spread, 37-19. And then week 1, 20-7 was Dallas. Week 1 was Dallas. So they beat the Cowboys, but again, it was a tough team by a small. Yeah, that might be a better pick. I might have to switch my Indianapolis to the Rams.
So either way, Rams are going to have their way with the gentle New York Giants.
Yes.
And then Green Bay at home. Rodgers always plays better in Lambeau. They've shown that they have what it takes, even with Devontae Adams. I think Devontae Adams will likely play this week, from what reports seem to say, but we'll see. I don't have any other information on that. It's just a speculation. But I'm really just betting on the fact that Atlanta's going to go ahead and
tank it again.
Bork it. They're just going to bork this one again. Because. Well, watch. This is going to be the one that they actually win, because they're not going to be able to establish a lead that they can blow. They're going to be playing from behind and then win by a field goal or something.
Yeah, and finally pull off that 1-pointer win.
Yeah,
Justin, that's with you.
But either way, I don't really actually see that happening. I mean, there's always it's plausible, but I really just see Green Bay being able to take it to them at home on Monday Night Football. It's a prime time. It's a prime time game. Aaron Rodgers is gonna want to perform, right? And he's gonna take it to him.
So just so that way everyone knows, neither one of us, even though the Jets got pretty beat up on. Speaking of being a team that you can pretty much beat up on, Jets play Thursday night against Denver. Denver's got just a 3-point spread. Like, it's so tempting to want to take that game, but yeah, Denver's not the greatest right now. And
They're still
after getting
Cortland's, is Drew Lock going to play? I don't think Drew Lock's playing, and Cortland Sutton's out for the season, right? So like, they have no offense. They have no offense.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? Maybe Jets is the take for that one.
This is the one win. The one win.
Yes, that should be a thing too. Is like the Thursday night game that actually does something. Like, or like, even though we don't pick it, like, who do we think we would have taken? After that, I mean, after thinking about that, I might take the Jets just because.
The only way I'm taking the Jets is if I'm getting more than a touchdown. It's only a 3-point spread, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the only way I would I would have been on that game, and I would have taken the Jets as a dog, but I need more than a touchdown. I think the only way I'm touching it is at a minimum 8.5 or more.
Then I'll make a note of that, and maybe talk about it next week and see who would have had the better pick.
Yeah, I mean, if we had the option to do teasers where we could tease up the points, like, I would totally be on that game. But with it being a field goal, that's essentially a coin flip. Really, it's not even like the points that only putting up 3 points. It's not worth taking the Jets at that point. The value is just not there.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get to the big news. Right?
All right, big news of the week. All right, let's get our ugly mugs back on this screen here. All right, so you want to lead us off, or you want to?
My biggest news was just the coronavirus game thing. I don't see the point of moving it a day, but then again, I'm not in their inner circle. I have no idea what it is that they're actually doing to ensure the safety of the players. Because, of course, we all want these players to be healthy. I mean, injuries suck, but they're a part of the game. At least in the NFL, they are. They're a huge part of the game, apparently. We always want the best for our players. But yeah, moving it a day or two, I don't see the point in it. If anyone else can explain it to me, please. What do you got?
Well, we talked about Nick Foles. That's big news. Nick Foles starting. Nick Foles. Starting for the Chicago Bears. Bears. Who else? We have Chris Carson. They haven't announced it, but just based on the injury, he's probably not going to play this weekend. So that's pretty significant. And it looks like, and based on theorizing, right? Like, if he misses this week, they have next week and then a bye. So it really doesn't. So if he misses this week, he's likely going to miss through his bye and just come back, take the extra time and come back healthy. Right.
So I'm looking at your thing right now and it says I can't tell if it's a Q or an O.
Yeah, he's questionable. It doesn't say he's out. It says he's questionable still.
Yeah, he's questionable.
With that. And then the other as far as news is that the NFL and the dictatorship that they have become are threatening to severely punish coaches for improperly wearing their masks. So lame. They're talking fines, suspensions, forfeiting draft picks. That's how ridiculous this has become, right? That I don't get it. Who cares? I mean, I get it. We're trying to mitigate. We want everybody to be healthy, but you can't blame the them not wearing their mask properly on issues, right? On the few COVID cases. This was to be expected. We were never going to go the whole season without some teams getting COVID cases. It was just not going to happen based on how they're doing it. They're still traveling. They're still moving around. They're still letting them, even though they're pseudo quarantining at home, they're still coming in contact with like the regular inner circle of people, right?
And it's not like they're keeping them confined to their houses. These guys are going out and doing things too.
Yeah, it's not like basketball where they had the bubble, right? Where like they brought the teams east and west to like a particular location, and then everybody stayed quarantined and limited contact. That's not what they're doing. So the whole thing is it's just dumb. It's just I think it's dumb. I think it's pretty ridiculous that they're talking about forcing the forfeit draft picks. I'm like, no. You're already doing enough to like diminish the product that is the NFL at this point. You don't need to be doing nonsense like that. It just doesn't make sense. It's not needed.
NFL trying to do things to become more political is not their job. And yeah, I'm not happy with it. Anytime they try to make the NFL more political, it's not why we watch the NFL. I get that they want to be sensitive to certain aspects, but it's not their job to be the driving force or the beacon that we all look at, or you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that and like look at like the variations. We have so many variations of face coverings. Like there's no standard. That's the other thing too. Like it's absolutely ridiculous when you don't have a standard to say, oh, you're wearing your mask improperly. Whatever. You have people that are wearing like cloth masks, like regular like cloth masks.
Cloth, medical, face shield. I have a plastic one that goes like this too.
Yeah. Clear. You have people wearing neck gaiters that are just like, we all know that the neck gaiter is simply just to fit the compliance of I have something over my nose and mouth. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop anything. Yeah, I do the same thing. Most of the time when I go out in public, it just makes it easier for me to throw the neck gaiter on. I don't have to worry about it. So then if somebody says, oh, you're not wearing a mask, like, oh, crap, I forgot. Here we go. I put it on. And then they just leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. But we know that you can blow air through a gaiter. But so the person wearing the neck gaiter that wears their neck gaiter all game doesn't get fined, doesn't have any issues, but technically really isn't doing anything. But the one person that drops their cloth mask below their nose because it's more comfortable that way. Like I have a big schnoz. I know like most of the masks aren't comfortable for me to wear, and I'm constantly like messing with it, all the time. So I'm not really even wearing it properly at that point either. I get it. Like it's just one of those things. But and then you bring up the face shield, like Andy Reid. I'm all for it. Like I think they should just all default to it. They should just buy them for the coaches, as for the NFL, and just give everybody the face shields. Because honestly, the face shield isn't stopping anything. It's open. It's essentially open air because it's pulled off of his face. It's going to stop some large particles.
But it's the direct spray or whatever.
Yeah, fine. But that's all you need to really avoid, right? So let's just say that that's what the standard is and give it to everybody and be done. Like why do we have to try to do this like this negative approach to it? Which is just causing nonsense. And like I said, I feel all it does is potentially diminish the product that they're producing. Because now your favorite team, because your coach is kind of is kind of egotistical and really wants to thumb their nose at the NFL, is going to end up accidentally not intentionally or whatever, but like ends up forfeiting a draft pick because of it. Come on.
That's too much control that the NFL is taking.
I'm not even sure they said it. I'm not really sure it's a real thing though. Like I'm not sure it's something that they can. Might be an empty threat. I'd be really surprised if like the owners would put up with that. Like them like saying like find me money. They don't care about they can find them millions of dollars and they still wouldn't care, right? Because of who they are, but. Like I would say that once you start saying that they're going to forfeit draft picks, that the owners might like that might be the time that the owners come in and boot Goodell. They're just like, yeah, this clown's done. This clown's done. We're over it. You tried. Nice try, big shoots, but hit the bricks. Yeah. We can't even bother to hold the refs accountable for their actual job, but you're gonna sit there and talk about forfeiting draft picks because somebody's wearing the mask below their nose. Whatever.
Yeah, while he's talking, while he's yelling into a field where everyone's more than 6 feet away.
Yeah,
and where the stands are freaking empty.
Yeah, nobody's there, or even if they are there, it's like 50%, not even 50%.
I mean, that was one thing I didn't understand from the first place. Everyone in that stadium that are completely fan-free have been COVID checked for weeks. They've been living together for who knows how long. Like they've all been around each other. maybe it's not the other team that they haven't been around, but the guys in the field are freaking tackling each other, and they're not wearing masks, are they? No, they're not. And they're laying on top of each other. It's all a spectacle to either get viewers or get the publicity or whatever, and it honestly just needs to stop.
Yep, I agree. I 100% agree. All right, I think that does it. I don't think I have any other news. So hopefully,
let's get out of here.
Hopefully we don't miss any games this week, because that would. I mean, we're not picking them because we can't pick them anyway. But hopefully they sort out what this looks like as far as their protocols are concerned, and we can continue to have a season with that. But yeah, on that note, we'll go ahead and make our way out.
Are you gonna take us out this week?
Yep. So until next week, find us on Facebook, The Bald and Beardiful. Email us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com. We look forward to all of your correspondence, snide remarks, helpful hints, nudes from the ladies only. What are
you, sexist?
Yes. Anyway, so like and subscribe. Smash that like button like you've never smashed a like button before. Like a virgin on prom night, you need to pop that cherry, right? Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
And that's how we got canceled from YouTube.
leave us a comment. Share us with your friends. Any other remarks?
No, thanks for the guy who left the comment on our last video. Very, very helpful and supportive.
All right, you lovely people. Until next time, same bald time, same Beardiful channel.
Have a great week, everybody.